Meltzer. I am a partner at Troutman Pepper in Wilmington, Delaware, and I am the Director of Finance for IWIRC. As the Director of Finance, I have the honor of thanking our sponsors for their support of IWIRC. This year we had set a budget of $90,000 and we raised $110,000 in sponsorship, so that is just wonderful news. We want to start by thanking our title sponsor for today's luncheon, which is Alex Partners. Alex Partners is comprised of the most respected turnaround professionals in the industry. Alex Partners is widely recognized for its long and successful record in helping companies resolve urgent situations and implement rapid change. Alex Partners professionals share a practical, results-oriented mindset that understands that in tough situations, failure is not an option. Alex Partners work side by side with both management teams and stakeholders to provide a broad range of services to companies facing strategic, financial, and operational challenges. Recent engagements vary in size and complexity, from mid-market to very large cross-border situations. Alex Partners serves as restructuring advisor and/or interim management for insolvencies, bankruptcies, and restructuring cases across a broad range of industries and countries. Alex Partners is a turnaround and restructuring expert because they are business executives first, and they understand how to build consensus, manage expectations, and control the restructuring to retain maximum value. So thank you to Alex Partners for being our title sponsor for today's lunch. In addition, I'm going to run through our titanium, diamond, platinum, and gold sponsors. So for titanium, Alex Partners, Glass America, Petrolsky, Stanley, and Jones. For our diamond sponsors, Alvarez & LaSalle, Brown Rudnick, Development Specialists, Inc., Graham Thornton, Kamen, Lowenstein, Sandler. For our platinum sponsors, BMC Group, CR3 Partners, FTI Consulting, KCC, Latham & Watkins, Prime Clerk, SCMH Capital, Sequoia Law, and Strato. And finally, a thank you to our gold sponsors, Baker & Hostler, BDO LLP, Debevoise and Plimpton, Force 10 Partners, Jones Walker, Laura Canfield, SM Financial Services Corp., Thornton Grant Finnegan LLP, and finally Winston & Strong. Thank you very much to all of our sponsors. We could not do what we do without your support. And with that, I will turn it over to Margie Kaufman to address our first awards. Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Margie Kaufman. I am the co-chair of IWIRC, and I'm also the CFO at Christmas Tree Shops. So I have the privilege of having us all recognize members that have been part of IWIRC for a very long time, or as I like to call them, the more experienced members. And we were discussing this yesterday at our e-board meeting, and I asked Shari how long I had been a member. I couldn't remember. And Liza pulled up the schedule and she said, since 2000. And I was like, oh, wow, 22 years. Like, where does the time go? But during that time, I've made so many friends, and friends that are friends outside of IWIRC. Yes, Angel, that's you. You're one of them for sure. And honestly, like, this organization has, over the last 22 years, grown so much and really has become, I think, a mentor to all of us that are here today, and those that are just beginning out in your career. You'll see what I mean. Wait 5 years, and these women will be your friends. You'll go out, you go out drinking, whatever, but they're really your friends. And especially through COVID, we touch base on a regular basis, which is really nice. So with that, I'm going to ask for all the members that are 20 years plus to please stand so that you can be recognized. And now members that are 10 to 20 years, please stand. And now members that are 5 to 10 years, please stand. And finally, those of you who have just recently joined the 0 to 5 year bracket, please stand and be recognized. And just think, in a few years, you'll be in the next bracket. So, as you all know, we awarded our Rising Star Award last fall virtually, but we wanted to have the opportunity to fully recognize these young women in person. So we're going to present all of the awards actually so they can get them now. Our first Rising Star semifinalist is Taiba, Arif Deckard, and our London network. Taiba has been practicing in the restructuring industry since 2016 and has been actively involved in the IWIRC London network almost since inception. And we got to hear her this morning on the diversity panel. Taiba attended the launch event in 2018 for London and was inspired by IWIRC's goals of connection, empowerment, and promoting the success of women in the restructuring and insolvency profession. She was instrumental in ensuring her prior and current firms supported IWIRC and has always encouraged both male and female members of her team, both in London and the US, to join IWIRC. As a member of the IWIRC Steerco, Taiba has served in various capacities, making a positive impact and a marked contribution in whatever role she's held. She has joined the events committee as a member and helped to organize various events, which helped establish a presence in the London restructuring market in its year of inception. Notable contributions include working to organize a charity evening supporting the charity Dress for Success and inviting various women-led charities and social enterprises to set up stalls at the event with all proceeds going to charity. Taiba was awarded the Be Inspired Award in 2019 by IWIRC London in recognition of her efforts to promote the success of IWIRC in London. This is a testament to how valuable her contribution to the network has been. Taiba transitioned into a key leadership role, heading up the membership committee as co-chair in 2019. She has always made an effort to attend all IWIRC events and work tirelessly on the IWIRC-related activities, often in her own time. She went on maternity leave during the pandemic, but made an effort to attend events while still on maternity leave, and has thrown herself back into IWIRC. She organizes and runs the Steerco meetings, including collating all reports, preparing meeting agendas and minutes, and all of the paperwork and administrative tasks for the network. This is a critical behind-the-scenes role, which ensures communication and connectivity between different committees of the IWIRC London chapter. Taiba has shown exceptional leadership both within IWIRC London Steerco by taking the lead in organizing various London events, securing sponsorships for IWIRC activities, heading up the membership committee, and more recently, the secretarial team, and externally within her own organization and the broader restructuring market. Oh, and on top of all the work that Taiba does for IWIRC, she has a day job. She's worked on various high-profile cases, cross-jurisdiction mandates, and often leading teams that go over and beyond and deliver results for her clients. Her team's work on Abraj was recognized recently in the market for being awarded the restructuring team of the year by the WOYR Awards in 2020. Taiba is passionate about the empowerment of women and diversity and inclusion in the legal industry and restructuring market more generally. IWIRC's mission resonates with her personally, being from a diverse background and having grown up in a culture where equal opportunities for girls and women do not always exist, and safe spaces for women to interact and express themselves is so important. Her work within the restructuring market and the legal industry exemplifies her commitment and enthusiasm for the mission. Please join me in welcoming IWIRC's Rising Star semifinalist, Taiba Arif.
Come over this way. There you go.
Just take it because otherwise it's in the picture.
Take a picture.
No, I know. I thought you wanted us to move it. There you go.
And help her hold it. Just perfect.
Let me take my glasses off. Okay.
Am I supposed to say?
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. I think you already heard from me this morning, so I won't take too long. I think IWIRC has been instrumental in my personal journey. You know, I shared a bit of my journey this morning, and it's been very important for me as a diverse attorney to forge my own path, not having someone who looks like me to model my career after. And so IWIRC has been fundamental in helping me to find my own community and find my own tribe. And I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that IWIRC provides me with. And, you know, thank you to all of you for continuing to inspire me and motivate me to continue to work in this space and to contribute in my small little way to the worldwide IWIRC community. Thank you.
Our next Rising Star semifinalist is Kelly McCauley of Whiteford, Taylor, and Preston. Kelly has been practicing in the restructuring industry since 2016 and currently serves as the chair of the Western Pennsylvania Network. Before her role as chair, Kelly served in every officer position for the Western Pennsylvania Network: secretary, treasurer, and co-chair. In each of these roles, Kelly's leadership and influence within the board and the network and the network membership has flourished. This past year, while many other organizations struggled to maintain their membership roles, the Western Pennsylvania Network membership grew by over 30%. The substantial growth of new members to the network is attributable to Kelly's active outreach to potential members and inclusive way of leading. Not only has the network's membership increased significantly, it has become more diverse, as they now count several law students and male practitioners among its members. This past year has undoubtedly been challenging for so many people and for so many reasons. During these trying times, Kelly ensured that the network provided support, hope, and levity to its members. Specifically, Kelly made every effort to keep members connected through virtual IWIRC outs, happy hours, coffees, as well as joint network events, including a cross-border event with the Toronto network. Her efforts to maintain a semblance of normalcy in an otherwise abnormal time has made the network and IWIRC stronger organizations. Kelly has accomplished all this while maintaining an extremely busy and demanding private practice in which she largely represents commercial debtors, creditors committees, asset purchasers, and equity holders in bankruptcy proceedings and out-of-court workouts. Her command for the issues, combined with her ability to seek practical solutions, make Kelly a first-class insolvency attorney. While her contributions to the legal profession are to be admired, Kelly's accomplishments are all more impressive as she does it all while also raising a young son and somehow always maintaining a smile on her face. One of Kelly's supporters said of her, we certainly all multitask, but Kelly is the epitome of doing so, and doing so with humor and compassion. Please join me in welcoming IWIRC semifinalist Kelly McCauley. This is beautiful.
I'll put this here so I don't drop it. I feel like I just won the Oscar. Thank you for this incredible honor. When I began my career as a bankruptcy attorney, I joined IWIRC at the recommendation of many male and female practitioners. And I quickly realized that this is really a place, not to just a network, but this is a place for women to come and feel comfortable to grow as an attorney. I credit my network for they've become my mentors, my support system, most of all my friends. And because of all your hard work, all the people that have come before me, I have been able to network with some of the most impressive women in the world. So I guess what I've taken from my experiences is, you know, when women support other women and when we celebrate each other and when we, you know, shine a little light on all of our achievements, we all thrive. When I was during the pandemic, when it started, I had a 5-month-old. Now he's 2.5. And I've also just given birth about 7 weeks ago. So I've had a toddler, I've been pregnant, and now I have an infant. And the women of this network have provided me with so much laughter and friendship and support. And then they nominated me for an award. So I have to say that this group, it means a lot to me. And to receive this award means even more, coming from a network I respect so much. So last, I just wanted to say thank you to the Western District of Pennsylvania for nominating me for this, and to all of the network for choosing me as a semifinalist. I'm happy to be here.
The next IWIRC Rising Star semifinals is Crystal, and I apologize, Crystal McElhenney. Crystal obtained her JD in 2013 from Jake University Law School. Prior to joining Bradshaw Law Firm in 2014, she clerked for the Honorable Anita Shodine, Chief Judge at the Southern District of Iowa Bankruptcy Court. Crystal serves as the Midwest Network's Vice Chair and Treasurer and has demonstrated outstanding leadership in these roles. She actively participates in events on international level, leads regional events, and is in charge of financials. This past spring, she developed and spearheaded a new series with bankruptcy judges entitled Conversations with the Court to help connect members of the bar with our bankruptcy bench. As a member of the Midwest Networks Board, Crystal strives to participate in and improve attendance at every event at the Midwest Network. She has also attended and participated in network chair meetings, as well as the 2021 Leadership Summit, where she volunteered to be a break room host and present to a larger group. One of Crystal's most exceptional leadership skills is her drive to build up others up and act as a mentor and a leader for women lawyers in the bankruptcy field. She constantly encourages female practitioners not only to practice in the restructuring field, but to be actively involved in bankruptcy organizations, including IWIRC. She not only demonstrates leadership in IWIRC, but she is also involved in the board member of the Federal Bar Association Iowa chapter, which she plans Iowa's annual bankruptcy seminar, board member of the Lupus Foundation of America, and board member of the Chrysalis Foundation, which helped equip and inspire young women in some of Iowa's toughest neighborhoods. And she is a 2021/2022 class member of the Greater Des Moines, Iowa Leadership Institute, a highly competitive and sought after professional organization. She is also a member of Drake Law School Diversity and Inclusion Committee and the Iowa State Bar Association Section Council. Please join me in welcoming IWIRC's Rising Star semifinalist, Crystal McElhenney.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me today and for selecting me as one of the semifinalists for this award. I When I think back to when I first joined IWIRC, I think about how Christina Stanger invited me to join as vice chair of the Midwest Network. And I didn't know much about IWIRC at the time, and other than it was a great organization for women in this industry. Christina introduced me to so many wonderful people, and IWIRC really provided me with the platform that I was looking for to engage with women in this field. I remember the first ABI spring meeting I went to as well, and this was prior to me joining IWIRC. I felt so overwhelmed because I was walking into a sea full of faces. And once I started attending the IWIRC meetings, though, that are always prior to the ABI meetings, I felt so much more at home because I saw those IWIRC connections that I had made in that sea of faces. Something that has very much struck me about women in this field and about IWIRC specifically is the mentorship and how much women go out of their way to raise each other up. I have been fortunate to have those strong female mentorships in my life, and they have really helped pave the way to where I am today. I want to continue to be part of this mentorship and help the next generation of young women reach their goals. This is one of my passions. I have two young daughters, and I want to see them go out and succeed in any industry that they want, and especially in those male-dominated industries. We need to help keep paving the way for these young women. So one of my goals for the Midwest Network in the coming years is to provide those mentorship opportunities and to help those women and get to their goals and continue paving the way for them. Thank you again to IWIRC and my friends, mentors, and colleagues in this wonderful network of strong, talented, and amazing women. I really appreciate it.
I thought I missed something. I'm going to turn the mic over now to Karen Fellows. I didn't know where you were.
Thanks, Margie, and hello, everyone. I'm Karen Fellows. I'm the secretary of IWIRC, and it is my pleasure to introduce the last of our semifinalists and then introduce you to the winner of our 2021 Rising Star Awards. Both of the women that I have the pleasure of introducing to you are from the international aspect of our IWIRC network. And I don't know if it's been said already during this conference, but IWIRC is expanding rapidly. You all here are part of a growing, thriving, healthy organization. We are now at over 1,800 members, and we expect to hit 2,000 this year with a bunch of new networks coming on board. We recently welcomed our 51st network in Scotland, and we are seeing interest in women all over the world. So I think it's a real testament to what we've been hearing today. If you build it, they will come. I remember when I initially, about 10 years ago, thought about starting an IWIRC network in Western Canada. And at the time we thought, oh, there's only a few women who actually practice in our area, and maybe it's not enough of a critical mass to start our own network. But from a small group, more and more women came. And the women who I'm going to tell you about today are part of those groups. They're young women, and they're the future of IWIRC. So the first semifinalist I'd like to speak to you about is Rebecca Oliveira from our Brazil network. Now, Brazil is one of IWIRC's newest networks. It just came on board in 2019, and Rebecca is in Rio de Janeiro. She was nominated by Beatriz Funeca, and says that Rebecca came onto the board shortly after the Brazil network was formed in 2019. And shortly after that, she helped organize a conference on the ground in Rio de Janeiro. And this was a big conference, over 300 attendees, and she did all the work and the legwork on the ground in Rio de Janeiro. And I think one of the best ways I can describe Rebecca's contribution is in Beatriz's own words. She said, "Being a leader is not an easy task. It involves sometimes standing your ground and assuring that things happen in the right way. Throughout Rebecca's participation in IWIRC, she managed to complete all tasks with grace, ethics, and professionalism, as a leader should. So I think those words really speak to Rebecca's contribution. Unfortunately, Rebecca could not be with us here today, but I'd like you to all extend with a round of applause our congratulations to. And finally, it is my pleasure to introduce the winner of the 2021 Rising Star Award, Veronica Chan from our Hong Kong network. Veronica is a lawyer at Tanner DeWitt in Hong Kong. She is an example of someone who really built her IWIRC career. So she joined IWIRC Hong Kong in 2015. She was a member of the board in 2017. She became vice chair in 2018. She was co-chair of the network in 2019-2020 and immediate past chair in 2021. So she has risen up the ranks in IWIRC quite quickly and become a very valuable part of that very successful network. Veronica is trilingual. She is proficient in Mandarin, English, and Cantonese. And as a result, she has very valuable skill set because she has contacts in PRC as well as in Hong Kong and is able to build bridges between those two communities. She organizes events, she works on sponsorship initiatives, she does outreach. She showed strong leadership during the pandemic, and she helped organize the IWIRC Regional Conference in Asia. Her nominator says her values are aligned with IWIRC's goals. She's focused and has great energy, and her primary interest is to promote and support other women in the industry, which is exactly what IWIRC goals says are. So Veronica, of course, is in Hong Kong, and she could not make the trip to be with us today, but we're very happy to say that she sent a video. So we're going to play the video now.
Good afternoon. I am Veronica Chan, a Senior Associate of the Restructuring and Insolvency Department at Tanner DeWitt, Hong Kong. Thank you for selecting me as the winner of the 2021 IWIRC Rising Star, and congratulations to the fellow Rising Star finalists. I have been involved with IWIRC since I joined Tanner DeWitt in 2015, started off as a general member, and then the vice chair, and stepped up to be the co-chair. I am currently the Asia Regional Vice Director after serving as the immediate past chair last year. Today is a special day, and I wish I was here to receive the reward in person and be with you all to participate in this meaningful conference. It has been a roller coaster planning the travels. My initial plan was to come with my parents and then have a family holiday and some shopping in New York. So in terms of itineraries, found some restaurants, got all excited, but things did not always go as planned. We had flight suspension in Hong Kong for quite some time, which means there was a risk to fly out and not be able to fly back in for some months. Flights were finally resumed, but there are other stringent restrictions in place. So here we are. In fact, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced these sorts of challenges for the past 2 to 3 years. I was the co-chair of Hong Kong Network when COVID started, and it was not easy. We had families closed down the week that the events were scheduled, or even the day before. Yes, I'm using plural here. Last year, I organized the Asia Regional Conference, which was held in Singapore. The format evolved from hybrid to physical, back to hybrid, and eventually it had to be virtual quite last minute. These are all out of our control. All our usual schedule and plans are disrupted. A lot of hurdles needed to be overcome with events coordination, that is, if they were not put to a complete halt. It was the first time for many of us to run events or cross-border conference in a format we were not familiar with, and there were more difficult executive decisions to make than ever. The pressure was on, but I did not give up. I've seen many wonderful females around who have displayed extraordinary commitment and contributions to promote IWIRC's goal, and the professional status of women in the insolvency and restructuring industry at both local and international levels. These women have set positive examples to others. Those females who have received various awards in this industry have certainly become role models to many of us. I would not have thought my turn would come so soon. This is not my first time to be nominated for this award. I was one of the semi-finalists in 2020, and I'm delighted to be the winner for 2021. I would like to thank the Hong Kong board who put together the nomination. They made me sound like someone 100 times better, although they said they were only putting what I've done on paper. So thank you all. This year in 2022, one of my roles as the Asia Regional Vice Director is to relaunch the China Network. The process has been slow, but it is progressing. From only having a minimal board composition to having a fuller board and events running, this feels like giving birth to a newborn baby, and it is satisfying. I may not have many words of wisdom to share at this moment, but I would say keep going and move forward. Be brave, be creative, be bold. Be supportive to each other, particularly women in our industry, because you will only receive if you give. Somehow you will reach there. Of course, I have been very lucky to have the continued support of not only the Hong Kong board, but all our sister networks in Asia, and of course on the international level as well. I'm extremely delighted and humbled that my achievements are being recognized. I will try my best to continue to grow and rise and help others to rise. It is a great pleasure to be able to join this event, and congratulations to the fellow Rising Star finalists. I hope to meet all of you in person soon. Thank you very much.
All right, well, that was wonderful to hear from Veronica, even if it was only virtually. And I think we can all relate to many of the challenges that she spoke to over the last 2 years of trying to plan events and then having to pivot on the fly. So this is so great that she said that. And now I'd like to welcome to the podium Lisa Blanco, our past chair.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leza Blanco of Secor Law and serving as immediate past chair this year for IWIRC. And I am here to present our Woman of the Year Award. In furtherance of IWIRC's mission, each year, IWIRC honors a woman for her recent contribution as part of the insolvency and restructuring industry with the Woman of the Year Award. I love that name. We call it WOYR for short, which is my favorite. The award winner may be an attorney, a judge, a banker, turnaround manager, an academic, or any other restructuring industry professional, and may either be actively engaged or recently retired from the restructuring industry, and can be from anywhere in the world. An IWIRC membership is not a requirement to make a nomination for the WOYR Award, nor to be selected. So this is truly a huge honor. And we received many nominations for several women this year, all of whom were worthy contributors to our industry. But this year, one person stood out for her remarkable contributions. And today we're here to recognize and honor IWIRC's 2022 Woman of the Year in Restructuring, Judge Susana Hidvegi Arango. Judge Hidvegi developed a specialty in business bankruptcy for about 12 years in a private practice at the largest law firm in Colombia, Brigard Urrutia, where she served as the director and head of the bankruptcy practice. Prior to that, she worked as an international associate at Deckert in New York after receiving an LLM from UCLA and being admitted to the bar in New York. Judge Hidvegi had also clerked at the International Court of Arbitration in Paris. She, all those years of dedication made her a very relevant player in Latin America in the restructuring and insolvency industry. So it was no surprise in December of 2018 when I learned that Judge Hidvegi had been appointed to serve as the superintendent of bankruptcy proceedings, which the equivalent is like the RBG of bankruptcy in Colombia. No joke, the top bankruptcy judge in the entire country of Colombia, and the youngest person to ever serve in that role. Shortly after her appointment, Judge Hidvegi, like the rest of us, found herself in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic that affected Colombia as well as everyone else in the world. So she then embarked nearly single-handedly to draft reforms of the Colombian bankruptcy regime to address not only the effects of the COVID-19 crisis, but a general reform. As a result of her efforts, the government of Colombia issued decrees 560 and 772 in April and June of 2020, which provided, among other things, the creation of pre-bankruptcy judicial proceedings, the incorporation of artificial intelligence tools to bankruptcy cases, and the creation of a simplified insolvency regime for small business, kind of like our small business here in the US. So to put it mildly, she revamped their entire insolvency regime and automated it and made it work seamlessly. So I understand from others that her sweeping reforms not only changed the world of insolvency for Colombia, but that many other Latin American countries are looking to Colombia as a model to model their insolvency reforms after that. So in very small steps, she's changing the world. In addition, and I don't know when she did this, but she found time to be a professor of bankruptcy law and several postgraduate programs at the Universidad de Rosario, Universidad Javeriana, Universidad de los Andes, Universidad Sergio Arboleda, Universidad del Norte, all these places call her professor. So she also, in her role as a superintendente, in the superintendencia, she serves as the delegate for the country of Colombia in the UNCERTAL Working Group for Insolvency, Group 5, which IWIRC actually has a non-voting seat on. Most recently, she was recognized by the American Bankruptcy Institute, and I'm not joking, in their top 40 under 40 class. Okay, so all that stuff she did, and she's under 40. She has now recently started her own firm and is back in private practice, firm of HMB Consultores in Colombia. And for IWIRC, she's serving as a member of the IWIRC's new non-voting seat in Group 2 for dispute resolution. So she recently participated in that. Judge Hidvegi has been a great support for IWIRC. She served as judicial chair for when Latin America was formed a few years ago. And she actively encourages young women to grow by encouraging them to get out of their comfort zone and to believe that everything is possible, despite their fears and despite their challenges. She says, she has a typical phrase, sin presión no hay diamantes, which means without pressure, there are no diamonds. So this year, our WOYR is an integral leader that has extraordinarily contributed to the bankruptcy field and the insolvency industry around the world. And I am honored to present IWIRC's Woman of the Year to my friend, Judge Susana Hidvegi Arango. Congratulations, Susana, for your hard work and commitment. And on behalf of IWIRC, we thank you for your continuing drive and to representing our core values. Thanks again.
So thank you very much. I'm very honored to receive this award. This is certainly the highest point in my career so far. I would like to especially thank IWIRC for this recognition, my family that is cheering me up from Colombia, and my extraordinary daughter, Julia, that gives me a reason to be better every day. And to all of you, the most amazing group of women, the superheroes of the crisis. So during the pandemic, as women, we were pushed even more as it was not hard already. We had to hold even more roles. So we were mothers, spouses, school teachers, chef, judge, regulator, manager of a team, and we also had to keep up with the job that had to be done. So
that was actual magic. There's no other explanation for that. So this magic helped us to navigate through this storm, and we are here together again. And here I represent the million of women that went through these same things. And for us, bankruptcy professionals, it is never easy. So the interests at stake are high, as well as the stress of the parties involved. And as Eric Hoffer says, disappointment is a sort of bankruptcy, the bankruptcy of a soul that expends too much in hope and expectation. Well, IWIRC members, our superpower is to turn disappointment into an opportunity to reinvent. And this amazing group of women is committed to undertake the hardest side of the business, the crisis. But seeing the positive impact that our work brings to companies and to people's lives makes all efforts worth it. My take is that women in restructuring shall have no limits, and we should never save efforts when we have the opportunity to build something that will strengthen the economy and make people's life better. Thank you, IWIRC. Thank you, Liza, for this great award and the greatest I have received in my professional life. And I hope I can contribute even more to the expansion of this great network. Thank you very much.
So good afternoon, everyone. There's nothing better than a room full of IWIRC men and women here today, and it's so great to see everyone in person. My name is Jennifer Kimball. I'm an attorney at Lowenstein Sandler in New York City, and I also have the privilege of serving as chair of IWIRC this year. So we just heard from Liza about our wonderful WOYR Award, and that's been an award that IWIRC has presented since 2006. But true to IWIRC's mission of continuing to promote women and look for ways to promote women, as we were sitting down and reviewing nominations for the WOYR Award, we realized we have some A, amazing women, but B, it's really hard to compare a woman who has had an outstanding year, an outstanding deal, with women who have served our industry for multiple years and multiple decades. So thus the creation of the IWIRC Women of Restructuring Hall of Fame. So this Hall of Fame award is intended to recognize a woman who has made significant contributions to the industry throughout her entire career. And our inaugural inductee this year is Suzanne Koenig, Susie of SAK Management Services. Susie Koenig is the founder and president of SAK Management Services, which is a healthcare management and consulting company. Susie and her team manage, turn around, and restructure senior living facilities around the country. In her almost 40 years of service, Susie has managed hundreds of senior living facilities and has served as a receiver, a Chapter 11 trustee, a patient care ombudsman, a healthcare consultant, a manager, a director, and probably any other position you can come up with for healthcare facilities across the US. Susie has the unique ability to step into what is often a very dire situation to ensure that a hospital or a long-term care facility is able to provide necessary services to its patients. Her hands-on leadership style and her ability to build instant trust and relationships with patients and the operators is paramount to her successes on behalf of not only numerous facilities, but thousands of patients over the course of her career. In addition to all of her work for her actual business, she's well known in the restructuring industry. She served on the boards of both the ABI and the TMA. And all of her other spare time, she was also one of the creators of the ABI healthcare program, which is now an annual education event. Probably most notably, Susie was instrumental in the creation and the passage of Section 333 of the Bankruptcy Code, which created an official patient care ombudsman, and she actually served as the first patient care ombudsman after the amendment to the Bankruptcy Code. Finally, in what was an extraordinary time over the last 2 years during COVID, when most of us in this room had the ability to work from the safety of our homes, Susie was at the front lines, donning whatever PPE she could find, assisting healthcare facilities and their patients to ensure that not only the facility to continue to operate, but that patients received care. Susie's nominator highlighted in particular her extraordinary commitment to her clients and her work, her perseverance, her determination, and the successes that she's achieved during these last 2 years of the pandemic. Never wavering, Susie was at the front lines interacting with patients, and her commitment to their care was unprecedented. Her nominator stated, Susie went above and beyond, risking her own life for the life of her clients, the residents, the nurses, the staff, and the healthcare facility. It's my honor and privilege to welcome a good friend, Susie, as the inaugural inductee to the IWIRC Women of Restructuring Hall of Fame. Susie. Take this. Oh, hold on, let's do this.
Thank you, Jennifer. Wow, I want to cry. This is undoubtedly probably the most unbelievable award that anyone could get in their career. And I want to thank all of you for being here today. Wow, I didn't know I'd get so emotional about it. But anyway, also hearing Justice Hidvegi, I mean, incredible women, all of the rising stars in this group too. It's amazing that all of you are who you are and are so successful. And I want to sincerely thank IWIRC because this was truly an achievement to address and show women's successes. I really, most importantly, want to thank Jennifer Meyerowitz, who put together this nomination and said, wow, you should be nominated for this. People just don't know what you've done. And I've had the privilege of knowing her for 20 years, but she joined me in the last 4 months. And what we've accomplished in those 4 months is truly amazing. And, you know, you will hear more about us and what we are doing because we are really doing some great things. And she's been inspiring for me. She's been literally my my work soulmate. And with that being said, again, I'm deeply honored. But more importantly, just to give you a little bit of background of what kind of person does this kind of thing. My father came to this country as a Holocaust survivor. He was an orphan at the age of 11, and he came here with nothing but the shirt on his back when he eventually came here. My daughter, Lila, who is from Russia, came here with nothing but a barrette in her hair. And I'm a single mother. I have 3 brothers who grew up in an extremely humble environment, working class family. And I was not born into privilege. I learned at a very, very early age that life is not easy. And work is something that we have to do to accomplish our goals. And as a young person, I contributed to my own education by working, and I would study late at night, and I would work at 5 a.m. in the morning and be a waitress and take a whole back room of a restaurant and deliver food and pancakes. That was actually a great opportunity for me to make my mark, because once the pancakes were over, the lunch rush, I was able to leave and go to the football games at the university because I was able to accomplish all of that before 12 noon. So it was great. And that certainly taught me how to get through COVID. Many of you have heard COVID, you know, many of you were lucky enough to stay within your houses and in environments, but our group, we were truly on the front lines. I was oftentimes the only person in the airports, and I have pictures of just completely open airports and open areas. I set up COVID units, and we were the first ones in there before there were any vaccines and before anything we even know. Again, we were risking our lives, but more importantly, my staff, they were risking their lives. And I appreciate everything that they did. I also appreciate all the women in this room, because many of these women would talk to me and encourage me, and oftentimes tell me, you know, you can do this. And throughout my whole career, it's interesting because when I started my company, SAK, there were so many people that really helped me along. I always understood healthcare because I'm really not a restructuring person. You may not believe that, but I started out in healthcare. I didn't even know what restructuring was. And it turns out that I was restructuring every single day without even knowing what it was. I was working in facilities and I was trying to improve them, and I was going places and seeing things and just trying to fix it because it made no sense that it was dysfunctional. Healthcare's never changed. It's still dysfunctional, but that gives me the opportunity to show that I can really do something. And when I came to this industry, because of this wonderful person, Keith Shapiro, who many of you may know from GT, because I went to him to talk to him about a healthcare facility. And he said, why are you working in healthcare when you should be working in restructuring and bankruptcy? I said, I don't want to go bankrupt. And he said, no, he said, judges and business people and lawyers and accountants, they need to understand what you do so that when these places get in trouble, you can be part of it. So I said, that sounds like a great idea. So he sent my resume to the Department of Justice, and I got a call the next day from an examiner in New Jersey, and they flew me out to New York. What was it? Arthur Anderson, which many of you may not know. I know some of the old timers know, and hired me to be the examiner's expert. And so I flew around the country with him, and I was in court and I had to testify, and I had no idea what I was doing, because you may not know this either, but I never took a business class. I never took a legal class. Many of you are lawyers. Many of you are people that, you know, grew up in this, and I knew nothing of this. Now, it's been a learning experience, and I've since taken some classes, and I've gone to night school. But you'll also notice that when I first joined this, and Keith got me involved in this, and he introduced me to his colleague, Nancy Peterman, who has been an incredible mentor to me. And many of you young people may not understand this, but it's okay to have a mentor that's younger than you, because Nancy is actually younger than me, but mentored me in this industry because I never understood bankruptcy. And she has taught me and continues to teach me many different things. We use many, many attorneys, but Nancy is always there to personally help me and mentor me with whatever I need in that sense. I remember also coming to many of these meetings when I first started, ABI, TMA, and all over. And I noticed everybody was in a sport coat, which I know many of you know that and you see that. And I said, where are all the women? And, you know, and it's true, there weren't a lot of women. And so for me, it was invigorating because my brothers taught me how to throw baseballs and my brothers taught me how to play football. And I felt like I was a tough broad and I could do that. But when I came into this industry, there were not a lot of women. So when I came and met the women from IWIRC who were just really kind of getting started, it was incredible to be alongside of them. These women who just through their support and through their guidance and through their friendship, most important for many of you young people, it's friendships and it's relationships, because I cannot tell you how many times I've been sitting in deals or trying to get deals, and I'll see somebody that I know, another woman, and she'll go, you got this, you know, we're there to help each other. And really, really important, you always want to be there for each other, because if you can't do it yourself, you gotta help each other as a whole so that we can get out there and do well too. In my personal life, I like to take young people under my wing. I talk to many, many people, whether it's in the healthcare field or whether it's even in the legal field, or little girls. My daughter, who was 5 years old when she came to this country, but I talk to her friends too. And I try to give them whatever advice a teenager is going to listen to, which is not a lot right now. But when she was a young girl, this really struck me. And to this day, I stand behind this. Being an orphan, as she was from a institution, when I adopted her and gave her the love and the care that many of you give each other, I really felt like it was unbelievable, because we would drive in the car, and that's when I got to talk to her all the time. And she would say, Mama, help these poor people. It was all the homeless people in Chicago under the bridges that you see every single day. And I would say, I want to help them too. She said, please give them money. Give them money. They got to have money. They're not eating, because she now has a life, and she related herself to that. And I said, Leela, if I give them money, how are they going to learn what to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give them a job. Give them a job so that they can take care of themselves, and they can go out there and be important and be functioning for society and for their family. And they're not going to forget it, and they'll never ask for money again. And you know, it was really hard for that concept for her to understand, but she now gets it, because she's 18 and she's working, and she especially gets tips. So now she understands what work is, and she understands that. But you know, I am blessed by all the abundant opportunities that I've had. And one of the key messages, again, that I tell people and young people is to aspire. Because seeing me up here, I know it's a little different and it's a little diverse, because again, I'm not an accountant, and I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a judge, but I restructure businesses. I'm in the height of insolvency, and I am with these people every day. And yes, I've learned a lot, and I understand the bankruptcy code. And I was very, very instrumental in Section 333 of the bankruptcy code. And I still work very closely and help legislation. I do a lot of speaking before Congress and the Senate. And I try to do that as an example as a woman, because I want my daughter to see that it's important that women can have a voice and we can help each other, because that's really what's important. And it is just impressive to sit here and to listen to all these rising stars that just started. I mean, just imagine, I know the Hall of Fame, you kind of feel like, oh, I got this because I'm old, but you know, I've been around a little bit, but just by seeing this with all the young girls and all the young rising stars, it's so important that we help each other. So, you know, in closing, again, I want to thank IWIRC, because this is an organization that really strives to recognize women in achievement. And by giving this to, you know, women, in recognizing it, you pay forward, because you invest in other women, and that really helps for our future generations of women to be successful. So thank you to such a wonderful, wonderful organization. And I am truly humbled, because this is really a point in my career that I never imagined I'd see myself in front of all of you today. So thank you. Thank you.
Susie, congratulations, and congratulations to all our awardees. It's incredibly humbling to sit in a room full of women doing amazing things every single day. So I always say that IWIRC conferences go by too quickly, and today is certainly no exception as we all gather here in person. The energy in this room is unlike no other. Rebecca, Redwine, Chrissy Sanfilippo, and your programming committee, thank you so much for your efforts and for your hard work. This has been fantastic. Let's give them a round of applause. And also, I want to thank Sherry Bedker and her team, the behind-the-scenes superheroes. This afternoon intermezzo events, if you're gonna make jewelry with us, it is in the room kind of right behind where mimosas were served, so stick around here. If you are going to go on a walking tour and explore, use the app, find your friends, network, and enjoy your afternoon. We can't wait to see you all in Orlando, Florida on October 18th and 19th for our IWIRC Fall Conference. So ladies and gentlemen, until then, hope everyone has a wonderful time in DC, and thank you for attending. Two requests. If you won an award today, can you stick around